Hey everyone, welcome to today's What's Your Opinion? And today we have We Do It 83,
What's up?
Brawlmaster012,
Hey guys.
and Calandori.
Hello, hello.
And as you've already seen from the title, it's time to go over some NX rumors and speculations.
Because you're not sick of it yet. We know you're not.
Why is this thing not announced yet?
May never be at this point.
I'm kind of hoping I'll have the stupid Smash Luck rumor or stuff that I did where I would post just even the smallest thing about a Smash video and soon enough we'd get a new announcement, which was just the craziest thing. It wasn't always, but when it happened it was so unbelievably scary. Like the whole Mario characters, the Smash chat for that one, where Rosalina is announced the next week. It was scary.
That was pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that right after we post this video, Nintendo's going to announce that they're unveiling the NX like the next day.
That's actually the only reason we're doing this discussion, just so we can hopefully change
You're
it.
watching.
I think
So
one
ready.
good thing to open up with is probably what do we think about Nintendo's strategy of holding out this reveal for pretty much until last minute, it feels like at this point.
I'm so starved for Nintendo content that I'm considering getting Color Splash. I want to get it, but I can't get anything else because there's nothing else here.
I mean, for me, it's pretty much I've been saying since E3, I think Nintendo's doing more harm than good at this point for just keeping silent on it. And it's my NX excitement has kind of turned from, okay, I'm really excited to see the console, just just get the reveal done with.
It's starting to borderline frustration, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for a time I was like, okay, take your time on unveiling it. And then there was a time where I was like, okay, you know what? They're going to unveil it when they're ready. I'm perfectly happy. And now it's like, are you kidding me? It's October and they still haven't revealed it yet? What is going on?
It's supposed to come out in March. Yeah.
Seriously, Nintendo, you've got some serious ground to cover here. You have to convince us why this is going to be a big blockbuster system, but you also have to get us hyped for the games that are supposed to be for it. Please don't tell me that this is going to be like another Nintendo 64 where there's only 2 games.
I swear to God, if one of their launch titles is New Super Mario Bros. NX, I'm going to throw something.
Oh, no.
That's like
Don't
one
even
of the
say it.
rumors
I'm
right
gonna
now
throw
where it's
something.
like,
Give them ideas because they will do it.
yeah, stop.
You know it. You know they will.
You're right, take me out back and put an end to me.
No, we'll make you play all of the new Super Mario Brothers games in a row for your life.
No! The repetitiveness, the repetition.
But unfortunately, at this point, we really have no idea what to expect. There is only, all we really know for a fact, or, there are 4 games, I believe, that are a fact, that are coming to the NX at this point. Breath of the Wild, which, gee, nobody saw that coming. We have Project Sonic 2017, which, thank God. We have Just Dance 2017, why?
Yay!
So hyped. All of my hype.
And I believe that there's supposed to be Dragon Quest game? I don't know which one it is.
10 and 11.
Yeah.
Both
Okay.
of them are coming, but they might only be Japan.
Well, at least it has something. So, there we go. We at least have those games announced. There was also the rumor of Beyond Good and Evil 2, which they actually did confirm that they are making a new Beyond Good and Evil game. Not quite sure if it's a sequel or a remake, and we don't know what console it's coming for.
Now we just need to make sure it doesn't get canceled in the middle of development this time, so, you know.
That too.
Please.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be great if they actually did pull that off and said, it was an exclusive, but I don't think that's going to happen again this time.
And
That'd
then
be cool.
Ubisoft is gonna say, no, we're gonna actually make it a multi-console and then delay the game for 5 more months.
That seems fair.
I hope you all enjoy it.
Never done that before.
Will you give us a demo? Right now, let's talk about the biggest rumor that's still alive. For me, I thought it kind of died off for a little bit, and then it just resurfaced, which is this is going to be a console/handheld hybrid. And what do you guys think about that?
I mean, admittingly, when I first heard of the concept, I wasn't on board with it, but the more I've been thinking about it, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, especially if you've been seeing the 3DS. That thing is still thriving to this point with a lot of quality games on there, and honestly, when you see of how they've been handling their games right now with like the ports to 3DS or even Smash Bros. 3DS and Wii U, it makes a lot of sense, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. It's also a really exciting concept that if all of Nintendo's developers were working on the same console at once, that could be a lot of games coming. I'm excited to see what's coming in the future.
Yeah, I honestly don't really know what to think of this hybrid idea because I'm having such a hard time picturing what the actual like controller is going to look like. Is it going to be like a smaller gamepad or something? I don't know. I kind of just need to see what it's going to look like before I begin to really wrap my head around the concept, but I do like the idea of having like 3DS quality games just on a more powerful hardware console. I like the idea of kind of taking that kind of quality and basically giving it on the home console, which is what the Wii U should have had.
Yeah.
That would have made recording off of the 3DS so much easier.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
I've actually been watching another channel called Super Metal Dave 64, and he goes over a lot of rumors, speculation, details, and all these other little things. And there's one video that was very important that I hope a lot of people actually see out of this. It was the fact that this concept actually already exists, believe it or not, for those who haven't seen it yet. But there is actually a product that already has detachable controllers, and you can take it around with you, and you can dock it to your TV and play your games from there, or just play it as a handheld. So for me, I'm not entirely sure that what we're going to get is a handheld itself, but at the same time, I can't deny the possibility that this can link up with some kind of smartphone or tablet device. So what I'm kind of questioning is, maybe, and this kind of goes into a rumor that came out with the whole retailer thing, is that maybe it'll have a two bundle package where like maybe one bundle is just the system itself, and the other bundle comes with a smartphone or a tablet sort of device. Not the actual thing itself, but a device like that in case you don't have a smartphone or a tablet. So maybe that'll work. It's very weird to see how this is going to go because we have nothing right now.
I think the fear is also right now with the handheld approach is people are worrying that the console itself is going to become a Wii U 2.0. And I agree, I'm not exactly thrilled with that idea as well. It's, for me and a lot of people, ditch the gamepad. Like, this thing needs to go.
They had a lot of cool ideas, but they never really found a good way to
They never
use the
convinced
concept.
me like they did the Wiimote on it.
Yeah.
And over time, especially when I'm playing the games nowadays on the Wii U, the gamepad is turning into nothing more than a hindrance at this point, where I want to use a Pro Controller, but the Wii U gamepad has to be on.
Oh.
If they're going to do a tablet approach, I just hope they're smart about it. And that's kind of how I feel about that.
Well, honestly, I feel like maybe it won't be like the game itself. Maybe like some key features, like Breath of the Wild. You could find different items on your smartphone tablet, like just by playing certain mini games or something like that. Honestly, nobody really knows how it's going to work, but I can almost see something to that extent, where it's like you get a quick little game on a tablet or a smartphone, but then you put it on your TV, and then you get this big, brand new experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, personally, my only real gripes with the gamepad were that it had terrible battery life, and that it just generally, aside from a few games, it really did not really have any potential use. Like it whatever they were going for, they really did not use it to its fullest potential, and that's fine right now because the games that I do have, I really enjoy the way they are. But I'm just like trying to think ahead to several years from now. What is going to happen when these gamepads start to break? I mean, if Nintendo doesn't offer some kind of repair service, you're essentially going to be out of a system because a lot of these games you can't even access unless the gamepad is working. So that, I feel like, is kind of a detrimental flaw. But other than that, I was generally okay with the gamepad. I do hope that they'll take some of these ideas and into mind whenever they do show us what the controller is. And kind of going back to what you said before about there being this kind of technology already, I don't think Nintendo would just straight up copy someone. I don't think that's really their style. I think if it's anything like that existing technology, they would find a way to make it their own and just kind of make it different. But It's if I can't really even comprehend what the concept is, I'm worried that they're not going to be able to sell it to the public, and that's going to be a problem because that's essentially repeating the same mistake that they made with the Wii U, and they really can't afford to do that.
And you're hitting it right on the head for me, why I've been so worried about Nintendo holding it back for so long. If they're going for this hybrid approach and are going to have to do a lot to convince people, you can't really do that when we're only like 3 to 4 months away from this system being out on the market.
Yeah, the longer they wait, the more worried I am about them actually being able to market this thing because they're losing more and more time.
That's assuming it still is coming out in March, though. For all we know, it might be delayed.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they literally haven't said nothing about it, so for all we know, they could announce it with a delay. So I guess there's that possibility, too.
I think considering that they were pretty confident on Breath of the Wild being on both systems simultaneously at E3, I'm pretty sure March is a dead set date at this point. I don't feel like it's getting delayed, but...
Unless Breath of the Wild gets delayed again.
I was just about to say that.
No,
unfortunately.
No.
I think we're done. I think we're pretty freaking close to this game coming out.
Honestly, I feel like our expectations are set so high right now that, and everybody has a different picture and idea, that there's no way that they can hit anything or measure up to what we've been expecting. So I really think they've dug themselves into a hole here. But nonetheless, once they finally announce something, everybody's going to go like, oh my god! So,
oh yeah, because it's a new Nintendo console. Those things are exciting.
I'm just hoping that we'll finally, once it gets announced, we can finally get out of this rut and go into the rut. So
I know.
Make us happy, Nintendo, please.
You know how to do this.
I mean, honestly, I don't understand why they didn't do something more like how Smash and Pokemon Sun and Moon have done their approach, where it's like a little bit of information time at a time. Like,
I think it's mostly because just those are more outside development teams, and Nintendo kind of just lets them do their own thing, and feels like they have a stronger grasp on what they want to do, but Nintendo just, for some reason, always sticks to this outdated formula by this point, and, you know, I realize I'm coming a little bit harsh to Nintendo, but I want them to succeed with this system, because I don't want another 5 years of the Wii U drought.
I kind of wonder if this new kind of radio silence approach that Nintendo's been giving us is any sort of result from the new president, if that was sort of his idea. I cannot remember his name. I feel bad. I can never get his name right.
Same here.
It's like Kimishima or something, but I almost feel like this is something that he's been implementing, which I don't know if it's true or not, but...
I mean, I'll give Nintendo credit. It's hard to tell if any of these leaks and rumors are true. Maybe, maybe not, but you gotta give them some credit, and they haven't really, like, leaked out anything major, like, nothing that we can actually see in, like, video format or anything like that.
This is the one time when they guard their leaks a little too well.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, how is it that they're able to keep everything tight and secure when it comes to the NX, and yet you look back in their past, and they had so many leaks for Smash Brothers and for Pokemon, and just all these other things just keep getting leaked.
Like, Pokemon is getting destroyed right now.
I know.
It's mind-boggling, to say the least. And it's also kind of sad but almost comforting that we're hearing more and more talk about the NX from the other companies. But that's kind of good, because that means that the other companies are getting involved, right?
Yeah.
I think it's more there also in the... At the same time, I'm wondering how many of that is, oh, boy, a new Nintendo system, this is a great new opportunity for us. And the other time, it's like, what are we developing on? We have no idea what this system is.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do remember
to
that.
be honest, hearing all these companies talk more about the NX than Nintendo themselves, I'm not really buying it, just because, if I remember correctly, a lot of these companies, especially Ubisoft, were praising the Wii U before it was announced, and then they were praising it up until release. Yeah, and then look what happened. They dropped it soon after, so I'm kind of hoping it's not going to be a repeat of that. But it's so weird to me to be seeing, like, Ubisoft praising this new system more than Nintendo is willing to talk about it. Like, there's just something not right.
And as we kind of touched before, Ubisoft is the one I don't buy Ubisoft.
Yeah, they're not exactly trustworthy.
Yeah.
Part of me actually wonders if they're trying to market themselves, because they're starting to get worried that Nintendo's not talking about it. We want the customers to know that the system's going to be cool. We want them to buy our games, but it's getting to a point that we won't be able to know enough about it for release.
That's a
It
good
feels like, weirdly enough, the the most we know of NX actually comes from Sega, just of them saying that Sonic 2017 is going to be on that PS4 and Xbox One. So that at least gives us like an idea of the power of the system, which is like more than Nintendo's given off.
You know what? You actually just took the words right out of my mouth for our other segment for power. So I guess we might as well just move into that right now. That right there is the only thing that gives me hope that the NX will be at least as powerful as the PS4 and the Xbox One at the very minimum, because it's kind of awesome to see that the NX was listed there. That was just like, wow, you put in the code name for the system?
I still kind of find it funny that Sonic has a game confirmed on a Nintendo system before Mario.
To be fair, he almost always does.
Are we going to get a Dreamcast 2 and Mario's going to be a launch title on it? What's going on?
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Apparently.
To be honest, when it comes to the power of this thing, nobody can really pinpoint it. There have been so many speculation and leaks about it being so inferior to even the PS4 in general, but then I've been seeing even more and more stuff come out that's saying that it could actually be on par with the PS4 Pro. To be honest, I don't really believe that it'll be on par with the PS4 Pro, but I want it to be somewhere where third-party developers can easily port those games over, so we don't have to worry about a shortage of third-party games.
I have a feeling it's probably going to be more comparable to the Xbox One in terms of power. I mean, to be honest, the PS4 Pro is not that much better than the PS4 in terms of power than we thought. But I think Xbox One is probably a good estimate. I'm also thinking in terms of it being a handheld. If this is a handheld, that's pretty impressive power-wise.
Very true.
You know, considering coming from the 3DS, where, look at Hyrule Warriors Legends. That thing can only run on the new 3DS, and we'll possibly have a system that is on the power of an Xbox One for handheld-wise. I think that's kind of impressive. Not as impressive for a home system, but I feel like I'm actually more intrigued by the handheld side of NX more than the home console side of it at this point.
And I have to wonder, though, we don't have to wonder at this point what exactly the power range is going to be. Even though I don't care about the power of the system itself, we all know it's the gameplay that is the most important element. But at the same time, you have to make it powerful enough so that your partners can get in on this action as well. They can easily port these games over. The reason the Wii even had a chance to get these lower quality ports, no offense, but it was true, than what the PS3 and the Xbox 360 were getting was not only because, actually it was just basically because the PS2 was still around and they could easily get it from there too. The Wii was definitely more powerful than the PS2, but when you look back, you had games like Madden and even Sonic Unleashed that had a PS2 game equivalent and they could easily get it from that. So when you had the Wii and the PS2, these hugely powerful selling systems, and it just seemed like, okay, that's not a problem. But then you had the Wii U.
And I want to just add on to that, what you just said about the Wii U inferior ports, even on digital games. I feel like Wii U also kind of struggled with that. There are some indie games that I played for my indie kind of marathon thing that I did a few months ago. Some of them I was attempting to review, but I couldn't really on the Wii U just because I could tell that the ports were not optimized very well. One in particular, I think, is Binding of Isaac, where Nicholas, the developer, even said that they couldn't put the DLC on the Wii U to get it to work because of the hardware limitations. And I'm really hoping that NX solves that, because if indies are having a problem developing for, Wii U, I really hope NX doesn't have that problem, because that spells bad news.
Yeah, I don't even think I have to mention Mighty Number 9.
Oh.
I don't think anybody ever has to mention that ever again.
You see, I completely forgot Mighty Number 9 was a thing, so I didn't even think about that being an example. So
I feel like at this point, the only time you'd want to mention Mighty Number 9 is to make a joke about anime fans on prom night or pizza explosions. Those are the only times you want to mention it.
But it is very sad that right now it just seems like the Wii U is inferior to getting ports and stuff. The reason we care about the NX having more power is that we don't run into this problem. Even though power and graphics-wise doesn't mean all that much to us, we do want the developers and other partners to be able to easily bring their games over. And thankfully, there are so many rumors right now that third parties are like saying it's a dream and then it's so easy to port over that I don't think we have to worry too much about that. At least that's what I'm hoping for. If it can at least be powerful, I'm hoping it's like it'll be the PS2 of the GameCube and Xbox and PS2 era where it was like the weakest one, but you could still get those ports.
Yeah.
PS2, you had to look back on that one, and you look at the game's comparison and some of the frame rates. There's no contest.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, when it comes to power, all I really want is for it to be powerful enough to make Nintendo's own properties look good. Like, I can't wait to see what the new Mario game is going to look like on NX. I'm sure it's going to look amazing. But I also just want these other companies to be able to put their games on Nintendo systems so that people have stuff to play while Nintendo stuff is in the works, just so we don't have all these droughts, because all these droughts that we had on the Wii U just absolutely killed it. Like, we'd get one game, and then, like, 3 months, we'd get another game. It's just...
And, you know, I don't want to discredit the Wii U entirely, because, you know, some developers really took that system far and pushed it to its limits. Like, for me, I still think Bayonetta 2 is the best performing and best looking game of this generation, hands down.
Oh yeah, it looks and runs wonderfully.
Yeah, and you know, I just want a system where you can get to that point easier for everyone.
Yeah, you want everyone to be able to get to that point. I think that's ideal.
For me, I care a little bit more about hardware, not so much for the graphics and capabilities and all that, but I felt so bad for the first-party developers of Nintendo throughout the Wii U's life cycle. For things like the Ice Climbers and Smash Brothers, I hate the idea of having to go up to a development team and tell them they can't do what they want to do because the hardware they have to work on cannot take it. Especially when there's other options out there, but they have no choice to go to them. I don't want to force Nintendo's first-party developers through that anymore. It's bugged me for quite a while.
And one thing that I think that actually leads into something else that we might want to talk about besides, you know, the thing that it's a handheld and a system. I kind of just want a normal Nintendo system again. You know, I think I'm Nintendo gimmicked out at this point. You know, I just want a normal system at this point. I feel like it feels about right for that kind of system now.
To be honest, I was gimmicked out after the Wii Remote. That was it for me. I'm like, I wanted standard console again, and then the gamepad worked well enough because it felt good as a normal controller, but it's just, the touchscreen just did not do it for me. I'm ready for a standard Nintendo console. I feel like we haven't had it since GameCube.
There's an image online. I'm gonna
GameCube
send you
2.0.
Yes, please.
I'm gonna need to send you this, CJ, but it's totally an image of just the GameCube controller recolored into an NX controller. We've already reached perfection. There's no need to get a new controller. We already have the perfect one.
Give us GameCube controller ports, and I will literally keep buying your systems, Nintendo. GameCube controller is my favorite controller they ever made.
Keep the adapter and work it for every game on this system, and there you go.
Every single Smash will use it. It'll be glorious.
The controller shall never die.
It'll
And
never
it still
die.
won't be a good enough controller for a new F-Zero game.
Dang it.
I'm
but
really
we have the
hoping.
GameCube controller. It works perfectly fine for F-Zero.
Apparently not anymore.
Yeah, I remember that. Miyamoto said he was working on this controller for a new F-Zero game, and then if it could get to work, we'd have a new F-Zero game. So I'm really hoping that maybe a possible launch title is this super surprise F-Zero game that works with a controller we never saw coming, which would be amazing.
That would be fantastic.
Not to mention, we still have no idea if Pikmin 4 is the 3DS game, or if that's actually going to be a launch title for the NX.
Oh, please don't be the 3DS game.
I don't think it will be. I don't think it is the 3DS game. Just because I don't really think Miyamoto's commented on the 3DS one much, so I don't feel like he's involved too much with that project. So I have a feeling Pikmin 4 is going to be its own separate thing. Not to diss the 3DS game at all. You know, I think they'll be fine. It's just kind of whatever to me. Yeah, I think Pikmin 4, if not a launch title, I think within maybe the first 6 months of NX would be my ballpark, I would say.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
Hopefully they don't
I
delay
feel
it
like
like
Pikmin
Pikmin
4
3.
is probably just one of those games that they just ported, that they just stopped development on Wii U to port over to NX. I feel like it's just one of those games that we haven't heard much of anything about, but it's been in production for a while. Like, because I just don't see why they would call this one on 3DS Pikmin 4. I mean, do we even know what this one is officially called?
No, it doesn't have an
I think
official
it's
name
just
yet.
Yeah, I think it's just Pikmin 3DS at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they wanted to call it Pikmin 4, they would, but I really don't think it is.
Games like that were probably being worked on for the Wii U and being ported to NX, there better be so many of those, because there are so many developers under Nintendo that we just don't know what they've been working on.
It's been a big 2-year drought.
This is the worst drought I've ever seen from Nintendo.
For some reason, whenever anybody mentions, oh, we ported our games that were going to be on Wii U over to NX, my mind just instantly wants to think that there's an Animal Crossing coming, like an actual Animal Crossing instead of what we got on Wii U, and that
Well, speaking of Animal Crossing, that kind of leads into that New Leaf update and like the new Amiibo cards. I think it's a possibility that Animal Crossing could work on that, especially if this thing is a hybrid with, the portable and at home. That system is pretty much made for Animal Crossing.
I sure hope the NX has Amiibo support. I really
think
hope
it
so.
will.
I think it will.
I think they want to keep that
It's
money
gotta.
going.
It's gotta be.
They've made so much money on it, and to just drop the feature like that, no. They might have to make some
No,
kind
they're
of...
gonna keep it around.
Yeah, I think that maybe they have to make some kind of accessory at the worst, but there's no way they could just...
Yeah, kind of like the 3DS adapter thing.
Yeah, or find some way to make the 3DS adapter compatible with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might work.
Because I think it's just infrared technology, so I don't think it would be that hard.
Nah, it shouldn't be a problem at all. But I think we can move on to our next category now, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got kind of sidetracked for a while. But
Yeah,
No,
sorry
it's
about that.
fine, it's fine. We need to get all this said. We could always say we had it on record that we said that, but our next...
AKA internet bragging rights.
That's right.
Yay!
So our next category is... This one's very interesting to me. The return of the cartridges. Like, really?
this legitimately excites me, and that's just because I grew up with the N64, so cartridges are like nostalgic for me. I would legitimately love this.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's not like cartridges have been obsolete. I mean, I'm looking at my 3DS collection right now, and those still all use cartridges.
Yeah.
So for the handheld department, makes total sense for me. It's a little bit of the home console thing that's a little odd. It doesn't really change much for me. It might affect publishers a bit more. Not gonna lie, as I'm thinking about it. But I'm open up to the idea. It's not a big detriment to me.
Honestly, I think it would be pretty cool if it was the same game. I mean, assuming that this is actually a handheld thing and not some kind of like app for your game. Like if you could just take the cartridge out of the system and then put it on that handheld device and take it with you. Bam, 2 games in 1. That's awesome. Instant selling point right there.
That would be ideal. Just if you could just pop it out of the system and put it in the other and just take it on the go, that would just be absolutely perfect. I think that would really be a Nintendo sort of themed gimmick, but one that is practical, one that makes sense, and one that really helps them stand apart from Sony and Microsoft and say this is something that you simply cannot get on these other systems.
And I think that also could be used as their answer to crossplay as well, from PlayStation, to PSP, PS Vita, to PS3 and PS4. This could be their answer to that, because I know along with everybody else, I'm hoping with Virtual Console this salty issue of, buying the same game again for like the 5th time at this point.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but it's the 6th time that's the best one.
You might put in a rewind button, Nintendo, but I see through it. I see through it.
The only real problem I have with cartridges is when I went back recently to try and record all these footages of my N64 games. When was the last time you guys played an N64 game and just put it in and tried jiggling it to get it to work? Do you remember that? Because it's been bothering me for a while now. Where it's just like
I was always worried I was putting it in wrong and I was going to break it.
Yeah.
So if they can fix that, I mean, the 3DS works great for that, but I'm hoping if this is a real thing, it's really more like an SD card kind of cartridge, where it's like, and let's be honest here, SD cards, like, they can store so much memory now that they're not really limited or being hindered by what was happening in the N64 and PlayStation era, where now
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
mean, especially like you look at again, I keep bringing up the 3DS. I'm always baffled by stuff like Fire Emblem or Smash Bros. Or Kid Icarus that they managed to cram all of that into a card. So I don't have much of a big problem with what the cartridge can do. I guess I'm just a little bit more worried on the publishing side. For are people willing to go to cartridges for a home system again? That's just my 2 cents on that.
there is
It's also
one
my biggest
solution
worry.
to it, and that is the fact that maybe you don't take the cartridge out, but maybe you could, like, I mean, even the fact that you can download the games, like, that would solve it, right? I mean,
I guess it's just my fear is that people would tend to go more digital instead of physical, and I like my physical games. So.
I do too. It's
Same.
nice to have them as background props and just showing off.
It's nice to
I
have a
like
shelf.
seeing the collection build through how the game's life cycle, okay?
Yeah.
Seeing it visibly on the wall.
This is my trophy.
This is how far I've come.
Oh, look at this. I have the original Star Fox for the Super Nintendo box. I love it.
Meanwhile, my cartridge broke a few months back,
Oh.
and I'm sad.
Seriously?
Yeah, because I was messing with my Retron 5 and it ate the pin of the cartridge, so now it technically can't stand upright, meaning it won't play.
Oh.
God, that
And
hurt.
it sucks, because I only got to play for like one root of it, and I was gonna play root 2, okay, apparently not.
Ask your Patreon for support, man. Ask your Patreons for support.
He said it, not me!
They will understand. Please understand.
Just making that clear now.
Please help this poor soul by giving him a Star Fox game.
Please leave that
So I think we're all in agreement that even if it does go back to cartridges, it's not a bad thing at all. It could actually be a good thing. Maybe publishing might have a problem, but all in all, it sounds like it doesn't really hurt anything that much. And as long as I don't have to keep jiggling it, we're all good here.
And I mean, as long as if it can make the games run faster, that is
Oh
absolutely
yeah,
perfect.
I didn't even
yes,
think
yes.
of load time.
Because, oh my god, the freaking loading time on Smash Wii U to boot it up. Like, I press start, and I swear I'm waiting like 40 to 60 seconds for this thing to pull up. If I could get this game
It's still
on
like
a
that on
cartridge
3DS
that's
as
running
well.
fast.
Oh wait, but on
Yeah,
the new
but
3DS,
it
it
runs
has
a
a
little bit
faster
faster.
loading time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
Thumbs
anybody
up.
heard that because we had just this cluster mess of words. So to repeat that, the 3DS version of Smash Bros. Took forever to load, but the new 3DS version of it takes almost no time. That's what we're trying to say. So yeah, cartridges would actually be a faster alternative to loading up everything, unless you're somehow Mickey Mania for the Super Nintendo, if anybody remembers that.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand how a cartridge had a load screen, and somehow the Sega Genesis was faster. What? Okay.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. Alright, so I think with that out of the way, we can move on to what I'm assuming a lot of people are really looking forward to us talking about right now. Supposed rumor that there's going to be a Smash game for the launch, which
Oh boy.
I'm so dead.
I think we're all
I'm
kind of
so-
like mixed on this. I'll be honest, I am not tired of Smash on the Wii U. Not tired of it.
I'll never be tired of it. It's my favorite version.
I just
I'm
got
still not tired
back
of Melee or
from-
Brawl.
I just got back from Big House 6, and considering that tournament, I was glued to Smash Wii U the entire time. I am not sick of this game at all.
On the other hand, who here would be up for more additions to the game?
Yes.
Oh god, don't
yes.
tease me. Don't tease me.
Just stop with the floodgate now.
Unless you're Sakurai, you shut your
When there's the
mouth.
possibility of it, that just means more is gonna come, and then you're never satisfied.
I understand that perfectly well, but let's face it, if they are actually going to bring a new version of Smash, I mean, at some point there's going to be a Smash NX, right?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
even if it's not an actual port of Smash Wii U, we know there will be a Smash Brothers on the next console. There has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
So the way you deal with that right now is port over the game that everybody loves. However, you have to be very, very careful with how you do it, because Wee Dude, you came up with this option a long time ago about the DLC characters. I think it's only right for you to talk about it.
Because I want to talk about this, because, you know, a lot of people are talking about if NX does get a port, then, you know, it's just going to come with all the DLC. But let's be honest, the Smash DLC was kind of expensive, like, in terms of, especially for all the characters and stuff like that, and I don't feel like Nintendo's the company to make it feel like you spend all that money and then it's worthless. So I have a feeling that if they do NX, it will actually be just a straight up port, and you use your Nintendo ID, and it just registers that you have all the DLC, and you can transfer it right over to NX and start playing. I think that would probably be the best way to go about it. That way it doesn't feel like anybody's getting screwed over.
Yes. I love that idea, because not only that, but it also feels like DLC can still be a thing, in a way. I mean, honestly, when I think about if this is really a Smash NX, and the only reason there is like a small, very small % chance that this could be a new Smash game, only because of two things. One, every rumor that reports on it is saying it's a brand new Smash game, but rumors are always taken with a grain of salt, and everybody here has so much salt to take right now. And the other one was going all the way back to 2014, was that whole Namco Bandai putting up the...
Oh, right!
Yeah, exactly. They were
the Smash 6 thing?
Yes, and it's very important that people understand this point, and, you know, I just want to say this. Thank you, Push Dustin, for being the clarification, and I can point people directly to you for getting the accurate information on this. Sakurai considers Smash on the 3DS to be Smash 4, and Smash on the Wii U to be Smash 5. So, unless Smash 6 was really talking about DLC, maybe they really were planning this like 2 years ahead.
It's stretching it because, you know...
Well, I mean, like, they did a lot of work for the DLC.
Made it clear throughout development that he was absolutely exhausted of this. I don't think he would go immediately into another Smash Bros. It feels like Nintendo is still getting marketed quite a bit on Smash Brothers indirectly through, you know, stuff like tournaments, or, you know, it still is being directed to all the time in like the eShop and stuff like that. So it's still like well known. I don't feel like they would be so quick to disregard the entirety of Smash 4 that fast. So to me, I think it's just most likely a port, and if NX were to get a new Smash Brothers game, I don't think it's going to be until quite a few years down in this system's lifespan.
Oh yeah, and I feel like at this point they could really get more for their time if they just ported over the Wii U version and added content to that instead of building an entirely new engine for a new Smash game.
Oh yeah.
Because they already have all the stuff with them. If they just added like a few more characters, maybe combine the 3DS and Wii U stages together, things like that.
And especially, I just, you know, thinking about it, because even with the possibility of another Smash 5, with this crazy of a roster that the game has had, like, every single one of these characters pretty much has to come back at this point, especially, like, these third-party characters like Cloud, Bayonetta, Ryu, Mega Man, Pac-Man. They all need to come back at this point.
They can't really top this right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be pretty dang hard to top what they have now.
Yeah, it's like, the possibility of a Smash 5 is such a distant thought for me that I don't see it happening. Again, I think a port, possibly some new content, but I'm not too sure about that. That one's a baby.
I just feel like it's probably a port, just because I feel like they'd want to give Smash Wii U more of a chance to shine, because it was on the Wii U, which was in such a terrible marketing state that they might feel like, oh, it didn't get as much time as it should have, or didn't get the proper chance to really take off. I mean, it did sell really well for being on the Wii U, but Nintendo might think that it could sell even better if it was on a better selling console.
Right. I mean, there's also the other rumors that they were going to like port Super Mario Maker and Splatoon over to the NX, but we're not really going to talk about that. We're not really going to talk about that.
Just make sequels.
I think Splatoon 2 is going to be a thing, by the way. Just
Splatoon 2 for NX, and then to coincide Inklings in Smash Brothers,
there
please.
You go. Because
Please.
That would be great, not
Yes.
gonna lie, but let's focus on the building the IP first. Yeah.
my question is Sakurai actually going to make a port? Because he doesn't really seem like the type where he would just lazily copy it over. But hey, maybe this is his vacation, where they just like put a palm tree in his office, and it's so easy for him to bring over.
I mean, he did say that he was already starting on his next project, didn't he? Like he said that a while ago, I think.
No,
did.
he needs to be on vacation. He's gonna
He
get
needs to
himself
be on
killed.
vacation. He needs to be.
Well, I think it's going to be kind of like a Kid Icarus kind of situation where like everything I've read, like Kid Icarus Uprising was not a stressful game for him to make at all, from what I hear. So I think he's working on something more like that, because, again, I don't think the man can do 2 Smash Brothers in a row.
Well, he
Like,
did it before, but it would be almost impossible for him to do it again, unless it's a port. That being said, I think like even if he's not handling the port, I think he's had so much faith in the team that he's worked with that he can easily let them handle it, because these were the guys that convinced him that they could get Bowser Jr. working on time. These were the same guys.
I think Sakurai will probably produce it. I'm not sure about maybe like directing the port.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he might be there. Like
He's gonna have his hand in it.
consulting,
Okay.
Yeah.
or approval.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Sakurai is so involved with his games. Like, if he puts his name on it, he's going to be, like, so involved with it that he basically lives at the office, and I feel bad for the guy. But, I mean, I hope...
Again, we are talking about a port,
Yeah.
so I don't think it'll be too stressful
Yeah.
on him to do that. So
I do hope
Yeah,
that,
but at
like,
the same time, I do feel like Sakurai wouldn't want to just straight port it. He'd want to do something to make it feel meaningful.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Right.
okay.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Clear
Sorry,
that.
I didn't mean to take it from
I
you.
agree that it's probably going to be a port, but I feel like Sakurai would want to give some sort of incentive for the people that already owned it on the Wii U and 3DS version. So I feel like there's going to be some portion of new content. I'm not sure how much, but there's got to be something new there to give previous owners incentive to get this new version. Otherwise, what's the point?
Thank you. I've actually been thinking
Thank
that
you.
my same thoughts, because it's like, from a marketing standpoint, who would buy an NX version of Smash if it didn't have any new content? Like, what would be the big
Especially after buying the 3DS and Wii U version.
difference? Yeah.
And the DLC, and the Amiibo, and the GameCube controller adapter.
Like, even if they don't put in like any new items, I'd be okay with that. If you just want to give us like a new stage, maybe a new mode, and maybe like 5 new characters at the launch, and then say like maybe there'll be DLC in like 6 months or something like that, I'd be okay with that. Honestly, I'm not sure about like new assist trophies and items and Pokeballs and all that stuff. Like that's like that right there is way so much to program in and make sure it works with all the characters, all the alts, all the stages, and every possibility in between. Like I'd be okay if the developers took some time away and not put in any new items. As painful as that may sound, let's face it, we do turn those off after a month.
Yeah.
Let's start wrapping up this Smash segment, because we've been going on for like, I think, 15 minutes on this.
Not a problem.
Yeah, first of all, if there is a Smash port, the thing that's going to have to convince me is being able to transfer my save data over, because I am not starting over for a 3rd time and losing all of my progress. I just got 10,000 matches done. I ain't starting over.
9.0 with 0 deaths. I can't do that again. That
You will
killed
not
me
do
to
that
complete
again.
that.
That cost me so many months. Oh.
So they better
Well,
have
I
some
was just
kind
playing
of
multiplayer the entire time, because I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, so they better have some sort of option for the people who did buy the older versions to transfer their save data over. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for me to consider it, even if they do put in some interesting characters.
Oh. Alright, I think we can finally wrap up. We're basically going to give our hopes and what we would like to see from the NX in general. I guess I'll go ahead and go last. Who wants to go first?
I guess for me, I just want a fun system. like, that's all I'm asking for. I'm not too picky, I feel like. With Wii U, it's my problem is the gimmick of that system. It hurt a lot of games on there. I want a normal system again. That's all I'm asking for. Just
That's reasonable.
you know?
Yeah,
Understood.
I mean, just kind of building off of that, like, I'd be really excited if they had a 3D Mario that was more like 64 Sunshine. I would love if we saw Splatoon 2 or something, but at the end of the day, I just want a console that isn't driven by a gimmick. I don't want any more motion controls. I don't want any more touch screens that do almost everything for the game. I just want a standard console experience. And I know Nintendo likes to do more than that, but I just want something that's functional. Please.
Agreed.
Just to add on to that, there's a reason why the GameCube games nowadays are getting a lot more attention.
Oh yeah, and GameCube games on the eShop would be amazing, please.
Yes. You have the adapter, use it!
Please!
Right there!
Whoever's been naming Nintendo's recent systems needs to be fired, and I need to get someone else to name whatever the NX is going to be called. Because if it's be called the new Wii U, or the Wii U 2, or anything like that...
Honestly, I'm still kind of down with the name of NX, not gonna lie.
They gotta be done with the Wii title. They gotta be done with the Wii brand. They just can't use it anymore.
Yeah, they can't. That brand has to die at this point. Like,
I miss Metroid a lot.
Yeah.
I really want Metroid back, and I want a console that doesn't handicap its developers to use it. If I can get those three things, I will be content. Oh, and the launch window has to be better than the Wii U's. Just
yes, please.
the bar is already set as low as it can possibly be. You already have Zelda NX.
It's weird to think that the last really good system launch, title-wise, was the Wii U, and not Wii U, the Wii, and one of the only reasons for that is because it had a port of a GameCube game.
They might be trying to replicate that success.
Yes.
Probably are.
So, with my expectations, or what I hope to see is, from the system, even if it is a handheld, console handheld thing, I want it to be fluid. I want it to be consistent. I want it to be as user-friendly as possible. I've got so many others, like a better online mode system, which would be nice.
Oh,
Better
yes,
episode,
please.
please.
How about the fact that we could talk to our friends even if we're not in the same game? That'd be nice. PS4 can do it. I'm just saying. I know this is stretching it a bit, but I do hope there's a form of backwards compatibility.
I would not object to that. I think it'd be great to play Wii U games. I just don't know if I expect it to, but
yeah, I guess it's just depends on how their porting strategy is going to be for this system. I guess it's going to be the real factor on that.
Yeah.
I think
it would definitely alleviate my concern about Wii U games aren't going to be playable once the gamepad eventually breaks. That would get rid of that concern if you could just play them on the NX.
Right, and I've actually heard some people in the past saying the Wii won't have GameCube backwards compatibility because it'll be all brand new software, and they found a way to do it, and then there was the same case with the Wii U, whereas that was an amazing thing for me that the Wii U was the only one this generation console that had full backwards compatibility. Xbox One cut onto it, but the Wii U was the only one that was pure backwards.
But CJ, don't you know? That's because 80% of this generation's library has just been remasters and ports. That's
Unfortunately, that is very true.
With the NX, I'm not so sure about backwards compatibility, just because if it is using cartridges, they couldn't exactly make the GameCube backwards compatible.
You are very correct on that.
I thought of that.
You are very correct on that. Unless you can download the game or transfer it or something, I have no idea. But
I guess if you maybe are using your Nintendo ID and re-download it, maybe.
Yeah, if they can see that you have save data, that you physically own it, and then you can just download it for free, maybe.
That might be stretching it too far, but we'll see what they do in the future.
I think the Nintendo ID is probably the way to go, most likely.
Yeah.
If they're going to do that at all.
Right, and there's one more thing I kind of forget. Oh yeah, it's about the power of the system. I just hope that it's good enough to run the third-party games without a problem. That's all. And of course, everything we said about Smash, everything. If that's true. If that's true.
If there's one thing I hope Nintendo really does right above all else with the NX is that you gotta explain what this concept is. You gotta sell this idea to the public. You cannot make the same mistake that you did with the Wii U. If you're gonna go with this console handheld hybrid, you gotta make it simple to understand, and you gotta make sure that people want this thing.
Yeah,
Please.
Again, just ending my thoughts. I love Nintendo, and I always have. And I want to always, talk to people and say, hey, I want you to try out this game for Nintendo, and we need a system that allows me to do that.
We wish Nintendo the best. Actually, I do wish all the consoles the best, but right now Nintendo really kind of needs it.
Nintendo really needs it.
I don't think that it needs to be as successful as the Wii. Like, I think even if it could just be as good as how well the Super Nintendo sold, it'll be good enough. Like, I want them to.
It's just gotta be better than the Wii U.
Yes.
It's gotta be better than the Wii U.
Gotta be, even if it performs like GameCube, it'd still be a mod success. So
True.
Yeah. They do need to sell a little bit better than that, but yeah, you are right. They do
yeah,
need.
I mean that's like the lowest I think the system can potentially go.
Yeah.
I never want to see Wii U territory again.
Never.
Okay, so with all that said, and quite a long video I might add, but there was so much we had to talk about with this. We're hoping that this doesn't
And it
become.
will all be outdated within a week.
Which was what I was about to say. Hopefully, it's not irrelevant before I even get it uploaded. But hey, if that.
You better work fast.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then woohoo! Nintendo's like spying on me in my room or something. I don't know.
They need to just give you a job already.
And yet they refuse to put
They
King
like
K.
your
Rool in
ideas so
Smash.
much. Hey, if you get a job at Nintendo, you can make that happen.
Okay, so everybody watching, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for joining. And if you're watching this, be sure to leave a comment about everything we just talked about. What are your expectations? What do you hope to see? What are your thoughts, your opinions? And we'll see you all in your comments video. Hopefully, if everybody can join in on that one. All right. So with that said, later, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.